Finally. Okay. Okay. Finally. Let's go. All right. Massive turnout today. Everybody's running late. Make sure to pass the mic around to everybody.
Thanks.
But it'll be a great time to ask any of those questions.
Yeah.
Let me get this out of the way. For those of you on the stream, I was running super behind today and then had some tech issues, so I apologize that we're like a full 12 minutes late. Any questions that anybody has, please feel free to ask them on the stream. Let's see. Oh, where's the ticker? Why isn't the ticker showing? Let's see. There we go. These events wouldn't be possible without the sponsors. So you see the sponsors ticking along on the bottom. Very grateful for them. Without them, all of this would not have been possible. Some announcements. We have two pretty amazing sponsors that will be, I'll be making a more formal announcement this week, but one of them is going to help us solve a pretty major pain point that most people have, but also something that I think is going to be even more helpful in the future, especially in the future as the way we're getting squeezed on profit margin from all these different directions. But one of them is pattern fulfillment. So Pattern is, I think, the largest Amazon seller on the planet, and because of that, they're also, which makes sense when you think about it, they're also the largest shipper of shipments into FBA. Because to think about it, to be able to be the largest seller, so they're the largest by gross sales and also units sold. And because of that, they've had to for years, just to support their own business, develop a very robust fulfillment network of 3PLs and transportation from those 3PLs to FBA. About 2 years back, they turned it into a service that they're offering to sellers, and us in the community are fantastic fits for that network. So an example, we talk a lot about, let's say you're sourcing some products from PLMA and your supplier wants you to get 1,500 to 2,000 units, but you're only going to be sending to Amazon at first maybe 500 units. Those other units need to go somewhere. And a lot of the times the co-packer charges too much to hold the products for you, nor are they the best fit for that because they specialize in co-packing or something else. So in a situation like that, after your stuff has been prepped and that initial shipment from the co-packer is sent to FBA, Pattern can hold the rest of those products. Their prep fees and all that stuff there are much cheaper than I would think. I think if you go online and you search for something like cheapest prep center, they don't come up under that. But a lot of these cheapest prep centers have a lot of hidden fees. They take forever to actually ship out your products. So I find their rates to be extremely affordable, and they're able to do things that most prep centers can't, like advanced kitting, insert cards, like any of that other jazz. They're like very equipped to be able to do that. Not to mention that the staff there, they're knowledgeable Amazon sellers. So there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of fringe benefits too in working with Pattern. So we've been in discussions for a long time on this, and that has finally become official, but we'll have a more official announcement this coming week. The other sponsor, I can't yet say the name, but it looks like we'll be able to solidify something official this week in regards to, let's call it the whole finance space. So you need to creatively finance your shipments, your products, your inventory. Let's say you're just starting the business and the bank's not really wanting to give you some amazing rates because of the times that we're in, or the newness of the company, or your personal credit doesn't justify like kind of what you need, and you don't want to extend yourself too bad. There's a pretty impressive company that was recommended to me by somebody who I respect in the finance space, and we've had a lot of this. Obviously, for a topic, I mean, everything about our business is sensitive, especially if it goes wrong, but for something like finance, I would call that extra sensitive. So I've really done a lot of due diligence on them. I've connected them with other people in this, the money world, if you will, that I respect, and they're the real deal. So I expect that to be solidified this week, and hopefully anybody that's struggling with stuff in that area will be able to connect with them. A cool thing I was able to structure with them is that they have a pretty amazing dashboard software that they're going to roll out. And the purpose of this isn't to get into a software as a service. The purpose of this is, look, if we're going to be loaning you money or advancing you money, we want you to understand what's going on with your money so you make better money decisions in your business, because if you make better money decisions, your business will be stronger. If your business is stronger, we can do more business, because if your business goes bad, we can't continue doing business. So they put together a dashboard that I would say a dashboard that matters. And there's some good dashboards out there right now. Like I really like Sellerize. I really like Seller Board. I know Vladi, I know Dima like really well. And this is right there with it. And I structured something with them to where maybe the first 200, or I don't know, we don't have the exact number, maybe like the first 100 from the community will be free. Like you just get access to this really cool tool. So that's two pretty cool announcements. Let me see what else. What am I missing? My brain's still a little foggy from the workout this morning. So if anyone has any questions, that's fine. Today, when we get into our topic of the week, we'll be discussing virtual assistants, specifically like, is it important to have one? When should you get one? Frameworks you should look at before you hire your first one, so you know what to hire and what not to hire for, what to pay. Like, we're gonna go like really deep into that. It's a full house. Get a chair. You talk with GC and them? I think they're coming. Say, well, the last I heard, but I'm the last one to. Hey, Julian? Oh. Oh, you're going to participate? I heard you started a business.
Yeah.
That's good.
I did.
That's good.
Like that.
I know.
Pretty
That's
smart.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody sent me a link to buy one, but whatever.
It's not ready yet.
I'm ready to buy it and promote it and everything, but it's being like, it's.
I'm not ready.
I want to be part of the beta.
Like, I just like telling everybody, hey, I'm making this business, but I'm not ready.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, with your dad's brains and your mom's knowledge of numbers, I mean, there's no reason why it's going to be successful. I might buy a few magnets. I want a WOE magnet. I'm just putting in a custom orders. All right. So the topic today is going to be, I do it about once a year about virtual assistants. I think it's a topic that should be brought up quarterly, but it's one of those like I think mindset should be brought up at least quarterly, and like our mindsets to the business, but some people find it a little too fluffy. So I space them out more. The VA one I do once a year. And I think I have a pretty unique approach to how I approach VAs. And I've worked with, I'd say, thousands over the years.
Really thousands?
Over 1,000.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. The,
I think I cap out probably less than 100 for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, at least 50.
Yeah, I mean, you learn more with your first VA than you could be talking about VAs for years, and you learn a lot more just with that one VA than anything. It's like, and the first VA is probably not going to work out. Usually it doesn't, but this something I would do a little differently this time is I also talk about how to. I think when you're talking about virtual assistants, you also got to look at software. And there's some things that sometimes you hire someone for that's a virtual assistant that can be solved 90% with a software and just somebody to monitor that software or generate reports. So we talk about that. This year with the VA topic, we're going to be talking about something that I would say I'm not anywhere near as knowledgeable about when like software and VAs, but it's worth bringing up just with the little tinkering I'm doing. I'm sure you'll be able to add in a lot on it, and that's the impact of AI. So what now should be the task of a virtual assistant versus a software versus AI, which there's a whole bunch there. And then what could you do with AI that would require you to not have to have as many virtual assistants, let's say, or like, so like there's, it'll be cool to cover that angle. And I think because of AI and because of every day there's a new thing in e-commerce that you could just give to AI supposedly. I think it's probably for the rest of this year, I'll probably bring this topic back once a quarter and try to come back in the next quarter with, here's something I'm doing with AI, or here's someone I know that is doing X, like maybe in a quarter, maybe in like 3 months, you have something that you're like, I'm doing this particular thing, at a minimum do this particular thing now in your business with AI.
I have a friend who built out his own software that basically.
Hold on, throw on the mic. Everybody here, you got to pass the mic around.
I have a friend who built out his own software. He has a big team of VAs, and he built out a software specifically to message people at the time they're supposed to start working. And it goes like, hey, check in please, this is your time to start working. So that the employee checks in and goes like, yes, I'm here. And then at the end of the night, the employee goes in and says like, these are the things that I worked on today. So basically the AI collects the information of when the VA is supposed to start and everything that they said they did for that day. And it keeps a running tag of everything. I personally, when I had a lot of VAs, I used to just have that screen recorder thing where it takes a picture of your VA's screen every X number of minutes, like 10 minutes, and then you would review it. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. I mean, ultimately, you really want to trust your VAs, but this ability of being able to say like, hey, are you here? Are you actually working? And if they do not respond, they get another ping like 15 minutes later. It's like, hey, you were supposed to start 15 minutes ago. Where, what's going on? Where are you? And if they don't get a response, it's like, you start to notice patterns with employees that say they're working and they're not really working for you. They're just out doing their own thing. And I get it. You're more of like the let's give the employees headspace to be able to work at their own pace, at their own speed. But it's so easy with virtual employees to just lose them for quite a few of the hours that you're paying for.
Yeah, that's definitely something we'll go over. I try not. I try to make anyone that works for me to not be paid by the hour. And I try to pay them, like, here are the things I need done and that I need you to be responsible for. Here are the goals I have over this year, 6 weeks, 3 months. And you know what, if tomorrow you're gonna go to the beach, go to the beach. Are we on track? I mean, is there meetings or a training or something that needs to be hit on the day that you're supposed to go into the beach? That doesn't work. But the only time hourly comes up is if it, for me, is usually when the person's asking for a raise. And then it's like, okay, I need to add a number somewhere. This number that I'm gonna add, it helps me to know, because I can then say, okay, in my mind, you're doing this full time, so it's your wage divided by 40. And then I can look at it and say, man, if I add this doesn't feel right if I just add. And then I look at it and in reality, you're probably working 30 of these 40. And then it allows me to factor in like, I'm gonna give you a boost of this amount per hour, and that translates to X. But I try not to look at it as an hourly thing. I'm not saying that that's a good way to do it. Like, I've definitely been bitten in the you know what, like, behind that. But yeah, I'm definitely on the extreme, but we'll get into that, like, totally. I guess that falls under trust of
Right.
trust of your VA. And by the way, anybody on the stream, for those of you that are on the stream, which looks like it's rivaling or in excess of what's here. Yeah. Feel free to chime in with any questions that you're going to have regarding VAs or anybody that does work with virtual assistants or has a creative approach to delegating. Feel free to like share those in the comments now, so that when we do get into that particular topic, what's up, man? So that when we do get into that particular topic, that which we'll be getting to at 2 p.m., we'll be able to, I'll be able to cover it and like answer it, or we could all learn from it. What else? We're in the beginner hour, so anybody that has questions, I know you got a bunch of questions and stuff, but anybody that has any questions, feel free to ask. As far as announcements from this week, I would say something new that I'm doing that I was sharing with we call it the Entrepreneur Breakfast Club. I'm thinking of changing it to like a round table, entrepreneur round table, since there's not actually breakfast there. It's been pointed out to me that pastelitos alone do not qualify as a breakfast.
Yeah, you need coffee for breakfast.
Right. We technically do coffee. There's Cuban coffee.
Yeah, it is Cuban coffee, yeah.
Right. But apparently, since it's not a cup of coffee in front of everyone, and breakfast, pastelitos don't count as breakfast, it's been pointed out to me. Because what I'm doing is we've never intentionally tried to grow the meetup. The meetup just kind of grows on its own and it's word of mouth. But we're setting some stuff up now to intentionally try to grow it for the first time, which would be some sort of paid ads or retargeting or stuff like that. And then the idea is to grow specifically, which is a much harder target for the entrepreneur breakfast. But when you're building out a landing page for breakfast, there's an assumption. There's an assumption you have when you're going to a breakfast. There's a visual you have, like there's plates, and we don't have plates. We don't have, most of the time these savages don't even use napkins. So we're gonna probably change it to round table. But, yeah, interesting. But I was sharing it there that something I'm doing differently is, getting into all the excitement that Ramon was talking is doing with OpenClaw? OpenClaw? I can't keep track of all the names, but OpenClaw, Claude, Anthropic, Claude, Cowork, Claude Code, and all that, which is sort of having this magical AI person running.
You call it magical because
Well, and magical because for most people, the idea of a non-human going in there and doing all of your previously human tasks feels like magic. It feels beyond Jetsons. Right. In the Jetsons, they at least had to push buttons. Here,
exactly.
This thing runs on your device and you're not even there, right?
Yep.
Right.
Like it happened now, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real thing that's happening right now. So hearing that, it's like, well, even if I think there's not uses, like even though I think maybe I'm not ready to agree with some of the uses, like you're ready to go all in on and just let it run all your ads. Like you're comfortable, not even, if I'm correct, you're willing to have a person on it while it runs the ads.
Right. I am ready to be in a position where me plus another set of eyes are looking at things and making sure that it looks okay while it runs ads by itself.
Right. So I'm not quite there, but as we talk about in our main topic today, when it comes to virtual assistants, one of those types of virtual assistants is a GVA, a generalist, like a general virtual assistant, which is someone that can handle a lot of the filler stuff. It's not mission critical, but it also needs to happen. And that role, I would love to have it 24/7, but that would require 3 GVAs for me, like 3 generalists. If I could have one AI, it's not a matter of me trying to remove human work, it's just trying to be more efficient in the business. Maybe I could use that salary, that freed up salary now to go into a different part of the business. So anyhow, I've made a personal like pact to myself once I cut ChatGPT that we decided to go all in on Gemini, that I was not going to go outside of Gemini and Gemini's AI, not because they're not better, but I needed to really narrow in on like, let's stop using this just for random knowledge and let's start using this to create some systems. And I felt like it would be easier to me to focus on one. What's up, brother? It would be easier for me to focus on one to build those systems than a whole bunch. So as much as I wanted to go like all in on the open claw and all that there, but Gemini came out with something called Project Mariner, we were talking about, and they have something called Mariner. I think you have to turn the device on and then you can leave. You can't, like Ramon, you were sharing, like you can send a WhatsApp message to the thing and have it run on a device in another spot of the world. Like it doesn't have to be, right?
Right. You could have a VPS, a server where it's in another part of the world, or you could just buy yourself a Mac Mini and have it run all day.
Right. So like Mariner doesn't allow you to do that, but it will let you turn the device on, send it a whole bunch of, like give it all its things that you want it to do, and then go on to do something else while it does it. So this week, we started really looking into that. How difficult is this to do? It looks like it's not that difficult. And I think part of the reason it's not that difficult for us is it's already within Google, so we really don't have to bring much in. And this week, the idea is to start finding some very easy things and give it and say, okay, how did it do?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, that is definitely the future. I think the biggest thing is, I haven't really looked at Mariner yet, but agentic orchestration is the future. Being able to have something that does something for you.
I just nod my head when everybody says agentic, but what specifically is agentic?
AI-based orchestration. It uses AI to come up with a decision as to what to do, and it has power within a computer to be able to do that.
Right. So more than like, if this, then that. It's like, if this, then that, and then that,
And
or
then
this,
that, and then
if
that, or
this is
this.
present.
Right.
So there's logic, like a logic tree.
A lot of logic based on the output from an LLM.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you can have your ChatGPT that would be a great advisor, but it doesn't do anything for you, right? You have to do it yourself. Or you could have access to like Gemini or Claude or Claude Code. I mean, Claude Cowork that works alongside you. But if you really want something on its own, then it has to have a always present computer, either virtually or in your own house, and you need to give it sufficient power to be, permissions to be able to work by itself. That's it.
Yeah, and I would say within a week, I'm going to be able to come back and say we're now doing X with Mariner, and I expect that thing that I'm going to say is probably going to be yawn-inducing. It's going to be super boring, super basic, just to get the reps in and be like, okay, we were able to do this, now we're going to try to do this. Kind of like with the first one you attempted to give was rather minor in the grand scheme of tasks. I think that's a good approach. Rather than like going for my most difficult thing that we have and getting our butt kicked. But do you have anything specific you're going to work on with Mariner?
I have two guys in my company that I hire just to like geek out on AI stuff. So the last thing we were doing was trying to analyze, come up with buyer personas based on reviews, based on online articles, people, interactions, reviews that we can find. Based on those things, come up with buyer personas. So we create a better tailored marketing strategy, I guess. I don't know. That's how it is.
What?
And then
Oh, can you throw him the mic? Because he's saying some good stuff.
That was a bad throw, just so you know. But it's okay. It's
It was
okay.
awkward. It was
It
awkward.
was
It was-
really
it was
freaking
uncoordinated.
awkward.
It was awkward. I saw all of it.
What was that? Yeah.
How? So how did you?
So what I'm doing with the agentic AI right now is trying to delegate research to be able to craft a better buyer persona for my clients' products, so we can tell a better story.
That is so important. So important.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let me. Oh man,
The question is it up to you to do that, or is it up to your client to provide you that information?
So Ramon's asking, is it up to me to get the information or my client? It's both. So nobody knows the product better than my client. They sourced it, they know it.
Oh,
But
oh, you're gonna start something.
wait. But at the end of the day, the marketing knowledge that I have, because I've worked in so many brands, I come from a marketing background, I'm a filmmaker, etc. I'm able to tell a better story than you most of the times, right? Maybe you're gonna say because you like doing everything yourself. No, I could do it. Yeah, sure, you could do it. Go ahead and do it then. At the end of the day, like sometimes, most of the times, 99% of the times, I tell a better story than my clients. I'm just a creative.
Based on your marketing knowledge, not of your specific niche knowledge.
I mean, you're paying me for my knowledge, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, your way to interpret the information so that the customer will be able to capture it correctly or be enticed by it correctly.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you still don't exactly understand every single niche of every product you work with.
Of course.
So it's hard for you as an agency to be able to provide that service unless you get data from the customer or you do a lot of research.
That's why
I'll tell
I
you from
only
an ad
focus on
management
Amazon.
side, we get somebody, they have a product, and let's say it's not even a brand new product, they didn't start it, they got sales, they have established stuff going on, they want to grow. And they hire you for ads, to run their ads. Their listing sucks. You're not responsible for the listing. But if you don't fix that listing, you're eventually going to get fired because your ads are directly tied to what's going on with that listing. So like I think that's what you're asking, but with like, is it your client's responsibility to give you that?
It's both. It's
I don't know, 'cause
50-50.
if the client's wrong,
Sometimes the client has the knowledge. I just have to guide them to how to find that knowledge.
we were talking about a product in the last listing teardown, right? And I think it was, I don't know who recommended the product. I think you might have recommended it, but it was overnight oats, right?
It was what?
Overnight oats.
Okay.
You've heard them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
you're
good.
familiar, okay. So this ties into the conversation that we're doing right now, and that is, you're building out the avatar for overnight oats. They created this. Is the avatar for overnight oats somebody who is a superfood fanatic that knows ashwagandha, reishi, lion's mane, or are they on the go convenience going? Which one is the avatar, and like how do you come about doing that? So like for me, when I go to AI for that, it's the same thing. It's like if Waze told me right now, and I was like, I need to go to the Keys, and it said Turnpike North, and I'd be like, no, I'm done with you. That's not how that works. I know it's south. Like there's sometimes you override Waze and it says make a left here, and then it has you do a U-turn. You're like, no. I'm not a mindless thing. So like, where does that change? And let's say put the client, for this example, put the client on whatever side you want. The client comes to you, they already have the listing, and they believe one side or the other. How do you go?
Yeah, that's a great question because a lot of times I get clients like Ramon that they think they know they're doing everything. I'm just kidding. I'm not fucking with you.
That's okay. I do the same thing. It works.
No. But no honesty, I actually just had a client like that. Well, let's use the overnight oats example. If the product is on the go, like overnight oats, instead of making them at home, you're selling little packs of overnight oats just to add water in your, whatever space. Then I would try to steer the client to get a better avatar that's like maybe moms at work, not stay-at-home moms or dads or fit people who are always on the go or people who work a lot, things like that, if that's the case. So it's got to depend on the product itself.
And
And if the client says, no, you know what, even though it's on the go, it's for busy moms who stay at home, I was like, okay, where's the data? If they can't find the data, they just have a feeling, I'll be like, okay, I'll make them literally sign a document that says, you're not allowing me to do my work. I will execute the work for you, but my guarantee is no longer valid because you're not letting me fulfill my knowledge. Like, I literally do that.
But isn't that something to take into consideration? Like if your client
That's how you do it. Look at that.
If your client is on a path of saying, well, my brand is targeting this customer, isn't that their say to say?
Of course, they're paid for it.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
but when the brand comes back and says, we want a triple sales, we want a 10x sales, and you look and you're like, okay, you have a great brand and it's positioned for the super healthy superfood person, you're already getting the sales you can get off X platform for that specific avatar. The convenience one is much greater, so you can't 10x if you stay where you're at.
There's a disconnect that clients need to understand.
Okay, but taking this back to AI, I'm struggling. It's amazing to me with AI, like when you're going to AI looking for the avatar, I struggle with that, but I feel like that's a strength of mine, because when I'm talking to it and I'm like, give me the avatar and help me with the buyer psychology around, say, that, I'm just like, I don't know. I find it lacking. And then I find other people that are like super impressed with it when it comes to the avatar thing, and I'm like, okay, pre-AI, was that something you would call a weakness that you had? And right now, you're saying you should go all in because AI is right, because AI is saying that right now, but in reality, it's telling you to go to the Keys Turnpike North. Like, I'm not convinced AI is, for someone that knows buyer psychology, that knows all that stuff and knows avatars, AI is not that great.
But you're basically saying you know more than AI right now. It's basically what you're saying.
I think you can get to a certain spot in a subject where you don't know it all, but let's just say you're in the 95th percentile. So I'm gonna say I'm in the 95th percentile when it comes to avatars for the sake of this, right? So now, yes, if AI is feeding itself off of information and it doesn't know what is 95th percentile and 100th percentile, but it's also ingesting and accepting as truth stuff that's like, no, that was, just because it's dominating in Quora doesn't mean anything, that yes, I'd be correct over AI.
But again, how do you know for every niche out there that your 95th percentile applies to all of them? You don't.
I would say my approach towards avatars would be in the 95th percentile, not my...
For every niche.
Because the approach to avatars would be the same. If I approached it the same way, yes, I believe I can get to the right avatar 95% of the time. But I'm not saying you just throw a niche at me right now and I can spit your avatar back. It might take me a few days, it might take me a week. But what it spits out back at you, I think is justified on why it says majority of the time on A, double check this because we could be wrong. Like that's why it says that, because in some cases it's not. And then the areas where AI really impresses me when it comes to e-commerce, when I look back and I'm like, okay, pre-AI, you know where it really impresses me? Formulas on Excel. I never would attempt a formula on Excel before AI. But is that magic to you, the formulas that it does? Like how to add up two cells? That's not impressive to you. And if it gave you a wrong formula, would you say you're smarter than AI? You'd stop it.
But basically you're comparing somebody going like, this is my business, give me my avatars, and trying to one-shot it with one prompt versus your knowledge of being able to say, I don't know what the niche is for this industry, give me a week and I'll figure it out. It's basically the same thing, except the AI may figure it out in 3 prompts. It might get it wrong in prompt 1, but it'll get it right by 3, maybe 4 prompts because you narrow it down to a level. However, compared to like you saying, I can 95 percentile it after a week of thinking about it. Same thing.
I'm saying
except it'll take 10 minutes for AI, but than a week for you.
But not to reach 95.
What makes you say that?
Well, I'm not saying, I'm saying my experience with AI when it comes to that specific thing with avatars, and I'm basing this is kind of coming from what he said, what Rafa said about one of the things he's really liking it for, and probably will work with Marina on, is that approach towards avatars. Right. I'm just basing it off that, not just as a blanket statement, but yes, my experience with specifically avatars when it comes to AI, it's not been the best.
And what I'm probably
like maybe 50%.
fighting back on is you probably prompted it once.
No.
And you were like, this is bullshit. I'm not gonna continue working through this.
No.
So, wait, I think it's a half and half. Like you need to.
Don't be political. You're trying to appease both sides of the fence. He's wrong. You can just tell him he's wrong. He's got thick skin. Just tell him he's wrong.
Hey guys, there's a different approach. No, honestly, like he has.
Look at this. Look at they're running for president. There's a running for president over here. Look at this guy. Independent party.
Come on, guys. Can we just get along?
Who says we're not? We just like to fight. That's all.
No.
All right. So yeah, all that. I guess all that prompted from like, what about anybody else? You guys trying to do anything with AI, agentic AI, anything in your businesses? We should probably have like one section in the beginner hour for AI right now, every week, at the rate we're going.
When you go into one job,
Wait, go.
Yeah.
It's a little bit better. It's a better throw. Good job. If you go into one job, how do you like, what's the cheapest, fastest way to go? From LA?
Yeah, it'd be direct flight to,
Yeah.
well, no.
No?
Direct flights are usually more expensive. You should be paying like, I don't know, 500 to 700 bucks.
One way, right?
No, round trip. You
Round trip?
should be able to get a 750. Well, not one shot straight to Guangzhou. As a matter of fact, I've never flown straight to Guangzhou.
How do you fly?
I go in through, most of the time through Beijing, but it's either Beijing or Shanghai.
You as well? Yeah. So what do you do? So you do Miami?
Miami, New York, Beijing or Shanghai, and then the only other off times have been if my entry point was Hong Kong, and for Hong Kong for some reason it was Dallas. You'd go to Dallas to Hong Kong, which is the second or third longest flight in the world. I think it's 22 hours or something. I don't know. It's weird.
So you go Beijing or Shanghai? Worst case scenario, Hong Kong.
And almost always Beijing.
Always, okay. I'm trying to like see. Tickets are expensive. It's like $1,000 one way.
Well, when are you trying to go?
Like next month.
Right, that's because of the time also, you want to go next month. Like if you were, put a ticket in there and say that you're going 6 months from now, 8 months from now, and see what it does to the price. Well, there's also
a spread for moose happening.
right, I was trying to say it a different way. There's a lot of better ways to say that.
That's true.
We're all struggling on gas
That's true. Yeah, it's fucked up over there.
because of Ramon. But yeah, I mean, that probably has a lot to do with the gas. I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably why Amazon gave us that surcharge, that fuel.
How did it happen with
Oh God, no, don't give me.
the credit cards? don't throw it at him. Don't throw it at him. What happened to the credit card fee things?
Don't
Like
throw it too hard at him.
that's crazy,
His
right?
hands. His hands.
Hey, that wasn't very good. That wasn't very good. There's a whole bunch of people that I know that are currently looking to boycott Amazon for one day.
I have approached a few people on the services side, clients I know, and saying, "Hey, this thing's going on. Like, you better not." Like, so, the conversation couldn't happen. If I, from like my side, or I would get involved with that. I'm pushing it out there to people. I think it will do nothing.
Well, there's already press going on right now. There's already press of, news going out that people will do this the 15th. Whether there's a lot of people that will say they do and they don't, it's possible.
What happened to the press about the inhumane conditions at the FBA centers? You stopped hearing about that. Like,
I think Amazon only cares about press, and that's the whole point.
but there was the press about the inhumane conditions at the prep centers. You don't hear about that anymore.
MDS was planning a boycott.
They are. That's Cayman, which is probably going to lose all his accounts because of it. But like,
Yeah, so basically, I'm planning on doing it. On the 15th, I'm gonna turn off ads for one day.
well, you're totally down with not spending in a day. Like you
One day it's
sold
fine.
As soon as they said, "Hey, we're not going to spend," you're like, "Sign me up." He was in.
You can laugh what you want, but the reality is, man, that they really triple nut punched us this month. They really did this month.
They did, and I think the credit cards suck, but you know what? Every major platform does that. Amazon's the only one that does it. You can't do that with Facebook anymore. You haven't been able to do that with Google anymore. You can't even do that with eBay ads. Like, no one else allows the credit card thing. So to me, that really sucks, but it's something. The one that is the worst I have ever seen, and I think I've been selling on Amazon longer than most people, is DD7.
Yeah, the
I think
DD7 is another one.
puts people out of business.
DD7 is another one.
Yeah.
And the fuel surcharge all of a sudden, because of the whole situation, political situation, but that's solved. And that surcharge is not coming down. They said, hey, we'll momentarily bring up a fuel surcharge of 3.5%. That ain't never coming down. That's never coming down.
Yeah. So let's break it down what it is for the. Does everybody know what it is, by the way? I mean, I think if you're selling on Amazon, you understand. You guys heard about I think it's on the 15th.
15th.
Credit cards. You can no longer use credit card points. That sucks. By the way, anybody want to throw numbers out there about what you were probably bringing back in points?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. It was good. What about, do you guys know what DD7 is? Yeah, DD7, that bites. Yeah. And they're gonna milk that. Like, yeah, that's bad. I think, well, how many days do you think that's actually gonna add? I'm thinking 12. I think it's gonna break down to 12 days.
What do you think, they're gonna go back? They're not gonna go back, this is it. We're gonna swallow it.
No, what I'm saying is, I think this adds 12 days of cash flow.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it breaks down to 12 days is the best way I've been able to calculate it, which is like, on top of what's already there, that's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts.
I think it's gonna give rise to the cash advance companies. Like, they're gonna be able to blow, because you really just can't. You can't run a business like that. Like, even Vendor Central will give you agreements and terms where you could structure it to get the money sooner. Like, it's pretty bad. Yeah, that's bad. And I don't really have a good solution for that, but
And then the 3.5% surcharge all of a sudden with no end date, no decision as to when that ever comes off, but they did say it was momentarily. That was
Yeah.
another bullshit fee, for sure.
yeah. So since we can't do anything about, I look at it and I'm like, okay, yes, they suck, but since we can't do anything about it, you got to adapt. So like, what does adapting look like? It's been being said for a while. I really think one of the things that has to be looked at immediately, I think this impacts launches of products on Amazon. And I think well, okay. So when I'm talking about I'm talking about the launch in like its entirety, not the 2 to 4 weeks.
Maybe explain to them what exactly is going on so they understand.
Yeah. So our profits are being crushed from a lot of different areas is what's happening. And getting into all those would probably sound like acronym soup, but they're being crushed from everywhere. The ones most people talk about is tariffs, but there's a lot more than just tariffs that are hitting us. The logistics are crazy. Amazon's fees are like rivaling tariffs. And then to launch the products, the fee that is brutal is your ad spend, right? It's really, really bad. So most Amazon sellers, and this is why I harp so much on like email, so like I always do, and I feel like people's eyes glaze over. And there was a period of time that there was an argument. That time has passed, right? So what you have to spend in ads from launching the product to getting it to where it's selling the amount you want it to sell, and most people don't achieve that in 2 to 4 weeks, is considerable. And there is now a very, very, very viable alternative that you just have to you have to learn a few different skills. And none of them are anywhere near as difficult as Amazon PPC. And I like to try to keep us to where we only have to learn a few different things and get really good at them, but that's changing. And that's TikTok. It's TikTok. I don't know how more people are not talking about, what's up, come over here, big boy. Get over here. Say hi to the screen. Hi. Say hi. What? You gotta say hi. Say hi, everybody. That's my private label. Daddy. So it's TikTok. I don't know how more people are not talking about it, but TikTok, let's just call it TikTok launches, which means a lot of different things. But it's much more affordable, it's much stickier, and some people call it a halo. I think it's beyond a halo. What it forces is what should have been happening a long time ago, and it's been like, oh my God, I wish I was in this position, but it's forcing that you're ranking for your brand name on Amazon, and people will begin searching for your brand, which is the holy grail. Like that's what you want. You don't want to come up with Fat Burner and be one of a bazillion. You want to be, Big Timmy's Like you want people to search for Big Timmy's when they want fat burner. It's very difficult to do that. TikTok has created an opportunity to do that, while also being a more affordable and stickier play for the launches. So yes, I believe one of the things that's gonna have to change for some, I mean, sometimes it takes months to stick, you know, what you're gonna have to spend in ads with everything else going around and getting crushed on profits from different directions, like the math doesn't math.
I follow these guys in my industry. They have taken that approach completely. Zero PPC spend. They do not do Amazon PPC. And they crush it because their outreach in TikTok is insane. So everybody jumps into Amazon to buy from them straight off the brand name. And I'm not saying don't do PPC. I'm saying it can work where you're highly successful in Amazon by having a very strong TikTok strategy.
Yes. And it's a growing percentage of people that I'm seeing do it. Some of them are also running some ads on Amazon. I would recommend you at least run ads on your brand name so that when somebody does come search your brand name on it, but it should be I mean, you're talking about like 10, 20 bucks a day in ad spend, and you're probably not even gonna max it out in the beginning. But like when someone goes over there and searches for Timmy's Red Hots, you'd want to show up as much as possible. You're Timmy's Red Hots, and you're gonna pay.
Do you really? I've struggled with that. Like I found that brand name ads, sponsored product ads, they're generally not profitable, and people are already there. Not that they're not profitable. You give up a significant portion of that sale that would have happened anyway, and if people are typing your brand name, you shouldn't.
If there wasn't ASIN and competitor retargeting, then yeah. But I would say if you crushed your main image to where showing up next to some of your competitors, you won. Like on the image alone, you won. It's probably less necessary.
Yeah.
But there is some stuff, and it also seems like the type of people that are willing to go the TikTok approach, that have a mind towards product development and marketing, also understand packaging and main image stuff. So they play the game well.
Yeah.
But I have seen some, I don't know, 40% that they understood some TikTok, but they didn't understand how to make a product look good. And if that shows up next to some products that look good because you have like competitor targeting going on, why do all that and lose what should have been your sale?
Right.
So like, but I've also never seen them to be unprofitable. If they were unprofitable, I would say no. Like I've always
Right.
seen them to be wildly profitable because you're sitting on like an ACoS of 1 because they're buying.
So then that's my next question. What is the target ACoS you would have aligned to something like that?
I mean, if you're selling a product for $9.99, your ACoS is naturally going to be higher.
Right.
But I would say let's assume that you're selling something for $25, $30, something in that range. I'd like to see something under 5%.
Under 5%.
Yeah, I'd like to see something under 5%. Yeah. ACoS.
Target ACoS.
Yeah.
Or target ACoS, tacos or ACoS?
ACoS.
ACoS.
ACoS. Yeah, I'd like to see under 5%. Yeah. Whereas if Timmy's Fat Burner was going after fat burners, your ACoS would not be 5%. Like your ACoS would be
What do
something.
you mean when it's actually targeted?
If somebody goes in and searches for your brand name,
Well, yeah.
and then, right. But again, that has a lot to do with how cheap your product is. Like when I used to sell humidors and they were like $200 humidors, I thought I was like God's gift to ads when ads first came out because I sat on like a 3%, like a 5% ACoS. But the thing is, it's a $200 product. So like
Right.
your ACoS is always going to look.
Right. What I've noticed is that I've seen reports where async targeting shows me that I get conversions from my brand name. Somebody typed my brand name, they went to somebody else's product that was in PPC, then I captured it through async targeting, and they came and bought my product. So that's kind of, I'm like, man, that's a whole circle right there that went all the way through
That is really
the
good.
process. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend there if it's possible not to spend there because they already know my brand name. They're coming there for me.
Yeah.
Should I be spending or not? And you're saying 5% ACoS.
ACoS.
I'll try.
I would say under 5% ACoS. Yeah. And 5 would be, 4 would be, pay attention. 5, I'd already be thinking about stopping
Got it.
because you should get the sale.
You should.
Right. And I don't, maybe you could also just keep an eye on like who's showing up, who's targeting you, like what's all around
Yeah, I
you.
mean, if your competitors know better, they should be targeting you. They should.
The other great thing with TikTok that Amazon's just been horrible with, and they're trying to get better at, and they're not doing a great job, is awareness education. So the fact that you can't have an influencer talking about, or a UGC creator talking about your product, And you could also be supplying them with like scripts and things that you want them to say when they're talking about it, creates that, you know, awareness piece. You'll see this sometimes. There'll be a product and you look at it and you're like, everyone I'm seeing here for this product, they sell 70 units a month. And then all of a sudden you're seeing this one over here, it's got 1,900 in the month. And you're like, what's happening is you automatically start talking to your team or your agency or whatever, or you're just beating yourself up and you're saying, oh my God, I'm doing all these things with ads, or this person that's doing the ads suck, they can't get me to 60. But it's like, they're not getting those other 1,850 sales from Amazon PPC. They're getting them from unrelated. Beast Bites, when creatine gummies came out, creatine gummies had like less than 200 listings that popped up for creatine gummies prior to Beast Bites. Beast Bites blew it up on TikTok and YouTube. Now all of a sudden everyone was going over there searching for Beast Bites. They bought Beast Bites, it's in creatine gummies was in their thing, they ranked for creatine gummies. So now there's more, they like created it. So you can create demand from TikTok. So there's a whole bunch of advantages, not to mention it's almost always gonna come out cheaper. So like, that's the thing I think is gonna have the biggest impact. And hopefully more things like TikTok, like Whatnot's making some moves, and hopefully there's like a few other.
Didn't Instagram make a change recently that they allow influencers now to tag your product within Instagram?
If you reach a certain point, like so you either have to pay for verification to get the blue check, and it's probably like the $14.99, or no, I think it's the $24.99 tier to be able to link to products, and then it allows you to get 2 links per month, or
what does 2 links per month mean?
You get to actually link, just like on TikTok, you'd be able to do a creator video and link to it, or you have to be a monetized creator and unlocked. So like the monetized creator account that I have, I think is like at 150,000 followers. I'm not unlocked for it yet, but talking to a rep, it seems like at 250,000.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, it's a lot of people, but if I would just step up and do 2 or 3 videos a day, or say reels versus 1, you know, I would probably get there in no time. But yes, you're looking at your cost per video per day for X amount of time, so it's not free.
Yeah, but I mean the barrier to entry is pretty high, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Significantly higher than TikTok. TikTok is 10,000.
TikTok is 10,000, right? Yeah. There are some hacks there, but it's 10,000. But it's also massively easier to get the 10,000.
That's what I mean.
On TikTok, yeah.
But precisely. Not only is it harder in Instagram, but you can't game the system, and it's also 15x times the number of followers.
Yeah, I'm saying all these good things about TikTok, but then I also go around and I'd say that the overall caliber of people, or like, people will spend more on Instagram than TikTok, right? The type is Facebook's the which is the hardest one out of all of them. But the Meta Blue is the top one. They'll spend, like they just spend. I put it like this: Meta Blue. When I got first monetized for Meta, one of the things they unlock you for is subscriptions, meaning you could just subscribe to this creator and agree to a monthly amount. We're up to something like $700. I don't do anything. I'm not providing anything. It was just something there, and just on Meta, they just subscribed. So I have a recurring like $700. $700 at.
Where do I learn more about this?
Should be Meta, right? It should be just Meta, Facebook. That's in the VA section. Well, he doesn't have. He's got OpenClaw, so I would just ask your OpenClaw.
I guess I would, yeah.
And I think that's $700 something at $1.99 a subscription.
But people just pay you because they want to pay you?
That's it. And another weird thing about that is, man, I'm gonna say, I hope this doesn't come across as really wrong, but like say, I really don't want, no, because nowadays, 2026, and I'm just like, I feel like I have to like next thing you know, Wizards of Ecom's to shut down because I said some insensitive comment, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But like, okay, so if you're selling a product and your avatar is the US, and you create, I'll give you an example, like this, I did a video that was no talking, and it had to do with eggs. And there's like a tray of eggs, and I have, you know, I have like $20, and then someone's sitting beside me and they have $25, and I have these trays of eggs, and somebody comes up, pays me, I give them an egg. The person next to me is like, and they get their sign and they put $10, and they put the $10, and then I look over, I count how many they have, and they have 5, I give them $50, I get it, and then I change my number and I put 40, right? There's videos like that, okay? There was no talking. It's a great video, communicates a great message. But I'm trying to grow a US following, because that's my avatar in the US. A video with no language is applicable to everywhere in the world.
Yeah, of course.
So what happens is I pulled in, I don't know, 70% from like Pakistan and Africa.
Nice.
But it's like, that, you know, everyone's equal. But like, for the purposes of me trying to grow a business, knowing that the thing I have to sell is not economically viable to those people, it's not good for my business.
Yeah.
Right? It's also not good for what I'm training the algorithm as my type of people.
Yeah.
Something weird though happens on Facebook. First of all, I don't get as many people outside of the zones that I want, but a ridiculously high percentage of those people that are outside, that I'd be like, this has no impact on me, are the subscribers to the subscription. They're the ones that do the $1.99s. They're the ones that pay for the stars. Or when I'll do some live TikToks or something like that, I'll go live for like, I don't know, 30 minutes talking about random stuff, and I'll leave with like $40. So like, the people that are contributing, you look and you're like, you know, Abu Tahari, and I'm like, I don't know, I reach out and I say thank you, and I'm like, oh, how can we work together? And it would be somebody that I would never consider as like somebody that would be able to participate in part of my business, but for some reason on Facebook, it's excellent. Okay.
Interesting.
Question. Yes, this goes into a little deeper. Carmen said something yesterday that I really found interesting. She said, I'm gonna go in again on,
Influencer program.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one for the beginner. Our influencer program. We had the guy from Viral View, the owner of Viral View, which is, so what happened is, some time back, I don't want to get through the whole, I'm going to briefly go over it. So when the Amazon Influencer program first came on my radar, I thought it was a scam. And then I saw somebody posting and I followed up and I'm like, hey, if you can show me this is legit, I'll plug it to my audience. I'm like, 'cause I want them to know. But my motivation was, I wanted to stop telling people that were just starting off that arbitrage is a good way to start. To be arbitrage kind of sucks. Like, and it's a high risk business. It's very labor intensive. But telling that same person who had $500 that they should get into private label felt like it almost felt scamish to do that. So I would tell them arbitrage and there'd be this thing. So when I saw that it was legit, that people could make, I would have made it my full-time thing when I first started, if it existed, is this Amazon influencer one would allow you to kind of respect your time a lot more, grow a business while also growing this soft skill, which is video. I was like, let's promote it. But I didn't have a ton of knowledge on how it worked, so I tried to absorb as much as I could. I showed everybody and tried to get everyone to do it and pull that knowledge. But what happens is at a certain point, you either have to be willing to accept so many free random products and do so many videos per day that what you've done is you've created a video agency that you're the only person doing, you're shooting videos a day and you're really not making much money, and then, oh my God, you realize it's hard to run a video agency. Go figure, right?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought, right? So it was like, damn, that's not what I'm trying to go either. So I think for like, when Carmen says she's thinking about getting back into it, it's because there was a lull after that everyone was like, wait a minute, there's a trap here, and that trap is, I'm hiring myself into a new job. I just wanted some quick money. But then what happened is I found these other tools, and I recommended somebody in the group give them a try. And
I thought you were trying it. Did you finish your test?
well, I had the other person test it, and I didn't have the time to test it, but this other person was like one of the first people I told about the influencer program. I'm like, go test this thing out. Like, I think it works. This looks awesome. I validated it. He did. This person became one of the people that sold most in the influencer program in the group. And if he was still part of the group, would hold the record. So I was like, this is this other thing. But what I want to know is I want to get validated if we can, the tool's going to let you see a product, surface the product, and say, if you buy this off Amazon right now, say $20, there's no influencer videos there. If you post it when you receive this thing tomorrow or the next day on Prime, you should make $6 a day and recover your money in 3 or 4 days, and everything after that is profit. I was like, let's validate that. So obviously this person, he's like, got like an amazing work ethic. The person went in and spent like thousands of dollars, got all these products, and validated it. So it did work.
For one person.
For one person. And then we were going to do a co-presentation. The person decided to go off and do bigger and better things. And then I was like, okay, so I'm not going to be able to like pull that up, and I don't want to just say something in theory. I wanted to be able to show, and I don't have the time to do this. So I had the person from Viral View come in, which is one of the softwares that does this. And then I just had like a 2-hour meeting with the owner of Oink last week. So I got the breakdown now of everything and like where to go and what the filter is and all that. I got the recordings. The person's willing to do a training. Like the guy from Oink's willing to do a 2-hour training with everyone in the group. So I'm trying to set that up. It would be Zoom based. He wants to come to Miami. So like that's about to become a very, very real thing and like how to do it. But the two softwares, you don't need both. But I think it's good to just double check them off of each other, and they're pretty cheap. You want to get Oink and Viral View. And what you're doing is that. What you're doing, what it's going to allow you to do, otherwise you could do this, but it would take you all day long to do it, is put Oink Amazon Influencer Chrome extension and put Viral View Amazon Chrome extension. Like it should surface that way. But what it allows you to do is say, let me back up. So within the Amazon Influencer program, they're already dropping the commissions you can make, right? But you know, luxury beauty 4%, and then all the way down to like 0.5%, depending on the category. You really can't make much that way. But there's an explosion, like almost like TikTok worthy, going on with the Creator Connect program on Amazon. So what happens there is when you launch your brand, when you decide to launch your brand, you might go into Creator Connect and you might say, I'm giving up 20%, or I'm giving 20% commissions on anybody that sells my product, right? So now what happens is you're able, me as an Amazon influencer, I can say, when I'm surfacing, like show me products that meet this criteria, sells X amount per month, has less than X amount of influencer videos in the top carousel, and a few other criteria. And then has a Creator Connect thing going on for X% or more. It'll surface that. I'll see your product and be like, oh, great. This thing says that if I buy your $30 product, I'm gonna recover the money on this in 20 days. I like that because I'm gonna continue making commissions afterwards. So I buy it. I could reach out to you on Creator Connect, wait for you to respond, and you send me the product for free. But other influencers might pop up in the meantime and take that prized top spot. And then you still could make some money, but not as much. And once you get that top spot as the first influencer, it's very sticky. So you kind of keep it. Or I could just buy it. So I think the better way to go about this is buying it. And yes, 100% of the time you're not gonna win, but you're gonna win most. And it more than pays, it more than offsets, it looks like it more than offsets the ones that don't work. And the ones that don't work, it's not like they bring in zero. So he showed me how to do that. So now what happens is when you do the Amazon influencer video, you can connect it to that offer. So now every time somebody looks at that video and transacts and buys, you not only make the commission from the sale, but you also make the Creator Connect commission. That's the gist of it. So yeah, I think it's a very good thing to do if you're doing it that way. Yes, if you're just approaching this and says, hey, I want to start making a steady stream of income, we used to say, just go review everything around your house I do think there's a value in learning how to record, 5 units a day and getting comfortable on a camera and using the clicker. But beyond that, if you want to turn it into a business and actually like bring in like, I don't know, mortgage amount of money each month, then yeah, then it makes sense to, I think it only makes sense to do Viral View and Oink. Does that help? Who here, by the way, would be interested in a Zoom meetup, free, like a Zoom meetup with the owner of Oink? And maybe, okay, I think it's worth it. And we could like ask all the questions in the world. Is that a yes, or you have a question?
Yeah, you said like if anyone watches this video and then
So
makes
the-
the transaction, then you got the commission, right?
Yeah, on the Amazon Influencer Program. So like,
Yeah, but where the consumers see this video?
so go to any product on Amazon that has a video in the listing, and then click on that video and look at all the other videos that are there. So you're gonna see brand videos, then you're gonna see influencer videos, and then you're gonna see review videos. Those influencer videos are people that got a hold of that product somehow, recorded a video and uploaded it to the Amazon Influencer Program and tagged that listing, saying this is the product. So now future people that wanna buy, they might wanna explore more about the product and whether they should buy, and they click on the videos. Because people look at the brand videos, but they know the brand is just putting the best foot forward about their video. When you're looking at a UGC creator or influencer video, you're like, oh, the house is gonna be messy just like mine, and like, this is like a real world situation, and it makes you more likely, skate tutors, LLC. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna make it happen then. Yeah, stay tuned for that. I might even use it as a way to grow our Discord. I'll be like, the link is only available in our Discord.
There you go.
I haven't known this way yet, so you should do it.
It's starting to grow, and I'm now intentionally doing some things. I know, man. I know. It wasn't an easy choice for me to do, and it's been painful to bring to life. I'm not gonna lie. But okay, so yeah. So let's make it happen. Says I hope all is well with everyone. Yes, thank you, man. Thank you guys a lot. And by the way, those connections, both of those connections, were both made through Michael Morejon, who's part of our group. So huge thank you to Michael for making those connections and getting me set up with them. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more challenging. It was being a lot more challenging than I thought. All right, I think we exceeded our beginner hour time, even though we started a little late, so we can get into the actual topic of the week. But does anyone have like any other questions before we do? Okay, cool. So let's talk about eBay. No, I'm just kidding.
eBay.
All right. VAs, virtual assistants, same thing, just getting some of the terminology out there. I've done some of these meetups, and afterwards people wanted to know what this had to do with the Veterans Administration. And so when I say VAs, I'm talking about virtual assistants. I may use them interchangeably, but absolutely the same thing for the purposes of what we're talking about here. Nowadays, a big problem I have with the word VAs, and I rarely use VAs, is VAs has somehow in our industry become synonymous with inferior quality, third-party country, cheap wage, right? Most people do it that way. I've even seen people that I know are like really good people in this group, maybe travel to China with us and have like one of my VAs there or something, and be like, oh, you're the VA, like kind of like subhuman, you know what I mean? Like, and it was really awkward, like, but that's not at all. Like, I don't have, those people work on Ramon's team, not mine. Like, that's not how I see it at all. I genuinely do try to just hire, and a lot of times it's not hard to do, is to hire VAs that are smarter than me. And hopefully much smarter than me in a certain area, or really love to do something that I could do. I won't go into a seizure over it, but I really don't enjoy doing. And it's not where I make the most money for my business if I'm doing it. You could have a VA that lives in Alabama. So a lot of people, if they have a worker, someone that works for them, but they live somewhere else in the United States, for some reason they don't refer to those people as virtual assistants. But that's the same thing. Like, a virtual assistant does not mean outside of the country, right? That's all it is. It just means that they're remote. So I think that's important to know. I just call them team members. And most of the
Are you
time,
running away from the stigma of the word VA?
I do. I actively avoid the thing. I even tell people when, like, if you've ever been on an email chain with me and there's somebody else from my team, I introduce the people on my team as business partners. Some company, I think like Publix refers to them as associates. Other refers to them as partners. I refer to all of them as business partners. Some people get it, and then some people are kind of like, start talking to them about how we started the business together. But, oh yeah, is that door open? Yeah, if you can't, they're to the back. So we got that out of the way. Then we have domestic employees. So that would be someone that works with you locally. But again, you could have someone from Miami who doesn't work from you at a location and is still a virtual employee. So they can be in the same city and be a VA, right? And when you say you have a domestic employee or someone works in-house, that implies that somebody is working for you in-house, like you work in the same office usually or the same warehouse or something like that. There is a purpose. There is strengths and weaknesses to all of them. It's not better to have a domestic or better to have a VA. That's not how it is. Now, what is the case is for us here in the United States, or anybody that's listening to this that is in the United States, employees almost anywhere else in the world are more affordable than here in the US. So that's the attractiveness that's there. And by the way, I was born here, so obviously I love the country. I'm proud of my country. And I don't mean this next statement in a bad way to the US, but I've also found, in addition, and I think most business owners, if you press them on this, will tell you, not only are they more affordable outside of the country, but as a whole, it seems like people are smarter outside of this country.
That's why you're gonna get.
That's why I'm going to get banned from WE. I'm just telling you, it's very true. There is if you've ever had a salesperson on your team, you want to know what's a bad recipe, get a salesperson on your team and put them on a salary. If they're on a full-time salary and they're sales, where's the hunger going to come from, right? So the assumption that if you're here in the US, even if you're not in a great position, you're doing better than a lot of people in these other countries. So I think that blunts your hunger a little bit, and there's a lot more entitlement, I find, and stuff like that. There's a lot more, you need to pay me X because I have a degree. By the way, I just flat out don't hire people with degrees because they've all ended up like really bad. I don't not hire somebody if they have a degree. I don't hire someone.
Playing with fire.
Yeah, I don't hire someone if they're leading with the main reason I should hire them is because of their degree, right? But I have some people that have degrees and they're brilliant. Like,
I do think that the low-level employee, U.S. employee, produces significantly less than
Yes.
the low-level
Yeah.
offshore employee.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's been my experience, and we're like at 100%. So like, I do find, and let me say this, because the next thing we're going to talk about is when most people think about virtual assistants, most people in the e-com space immediately think of the Philippines. And the reason that came about is in the Philippines, first of all, very bright people in the Philippines. I have a lot of team members from the Philippines, but there's no language barrier because they can communicate in English. So there's a convenience factor, and there's also there's an affordability factor that goes into the Philippines. I will say that we're moving away. I mean, anybody we have on the team that's great, they stay. I don't care where they're from. But I found the cost of Filipino VAs to be higher than several other great places in the world. It did. It got super popular.
It got too popular, yeah.
It got way too popular. They educated me. There's no such thing as too much education, but they. Yeah. Thank God he doesn't have the mic. No, but it got bad. And I will say, there is, into any of my team members listening to this, I love you guys, but there's such a culture exists. And certain roles in your company certain cultures seem to do better in certain roles, has been my experience. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells when I say this. What I have found is more of a whole from the Philippines, there's less proactiveness, right? So I'll tell you what, anytime I have needed to hire like a manager level person or a C-level, if you would, the equivalent of like a C-level person in my company, I want them to be from the Ukraine. I have never found so many people that would just flat out tell me, that's stupid, Carlos. It was very assertive, it was very proactive, and I was like, that's what I want in that role.
It's culture.
Right, but then I lost almost my entire, anyone in a C-level role or most of my M-level roles in the war over there, so that was bad. Huh? That was on you. That one's on you.
What the fuck did I do?
We liberated Venezuela, you did that other thing.
God.
That's on you.
Oh God.
Yeah, so Turkey, great also for,
Respect, right?
well, anybody on the team needs to be respectful, but like this is for proactiveness is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna say on the extreme you have proactive and on the extreme you have like passive reactive. I'm not a huge fan of passive reactive, but there's certain roles where that's great. I'm favoring right now for anything that I need extreme proactive. Well, I can't wait for the war to end because I'm going right back to the Ukraine, but I would say Turkey, Ukraine area, anything I need as like, yeah. Man, there's some sharp people out that way. Yeah. Proactive, sharp. You know why it's so hard to hire from there, I found? Because they all have their own companies. They're all doing startups, so they're all doing a whole bunch of companies of their own, like it's.
What about the Middle East, Pakistan?
I don't have, I have had horrible experiences with Pakistan and India, as far as hiring personally. Super sharp people.
Yeah.
I don't find what I find is I bring them on, I want to bring them on the team and I want to kind of like embrace our culture, but they have, I find out 8 months in that they're actually running 3 of their own agencies.
Precisely.
And-
That's the same thing that I see. Like Filipinos, very passive but very trustworthy.
Very trustworthy, loyal.
Pakistanis, proactive, but you can't trust them.
That's been. We're in dangerous world. We're in dangerous waters. Oh, he's leaving. No, I'm just kidding. No. He's like, I don't even want a picture of me in this room. No. But then, where I'm finding just a great sweet spot right now, I mean, just amazing, is Latin America, and specific spots in Latin America. And Latin America was something I couldn't crack, but Rafa actually helped me crack it. I went to record a video in his studio, and he had a combination of I can say this, right? Yeah. A combination of in-person and remote Latinos and Latinos. And I was like, how the hell? I was like, oh, they probably don't have a brain. They were sharp. I could immediately say there was like team players. There was synergy there. This was good.
Good balance. Good balance of a little bit of everything.
Really good balance. And
Nobody's 100% assertive, 100% subservient. Nobody's 100% anything. But Latinos
culture.
are good.
Yes, there was culture. There was references to backstory. There was, people that have history together. That's not just work. It was really good. And I was like, well, that's the kind of thing I run, that I shoot for. So I was like, I need to know what's up, because the only thing I've found is like virtual Latino and like a few other staffing Latino ones that I'm just like, I don't want staffers anymore. Like that's worked out bad for me.
Which country?
All countries are good. So this is where I feel like.
Throw him the mic, because he seems like he's gonna not drop any country bombs.
Yeah, no, I'm already out of the hater zone. This is where it's going, I think, because the world's becoming more, almost like globalized. You need to start hiring people in the same country so you can have them in an office.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to go to Colombia, then you should hire as many people as you can in Colombia, mostly the same city, so you can start building an in-house company because I'm doing it in Caracas, for example. It's doing tremendously. I got an office. There's more synergy. So that, and I got that idea from the banks. Honestly, banks like I think it was Chase or Bank of America. That was like, either way, everybody goes into the office or you get fired. I was like, well, these guys are harsh. Let me try it. And honestly, productivity has skyrocketed, like 40%, which is great. So I make them go to the office half and half, 3 days a week to the office, 2 days at home. And that way, I've seen things grow big time. Now, the other question is, where in Latin America should you hire? I hire in Venezuela because I'm from Venezuela. I have the facilities to do in Venezuela, but I also hire from Colombia. You could also hire from Argentina, great professionals. One thing that you can have straight is that every country in Latin America, because of the way we're educated, they have to go to college and they have to, like, it's a family thing. They must. Either way, if they don't do that degree that they pursue, either way, at least they had to get some sort of education. So Latin American countries are very well educated, you could say. So that's why, like, Mexico is great, Costa Rica is great, Bolivia is actually very affordable and great. Chile is one of the most expensive, but they're higher at English efficiency. So Chile is amazing. Uruguay is very small. Brazil is freaking phenomenal. I just don't hire from there because I don't speak Portuguese. But yeah, those are the countries. Brazil is freaking amazing. Like, for example, Quartal has a lot of Brazilians, like literally like 20 Brazilians.
Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna.
But an office, dude, it's like,
Yeah, we're
it's key.
looking at, I'm not comfortable enough yet with Venezuela
Don't
to go with an office in Venezuela.
I'm doing it because
Right.
I'm from there, but don't.
Right, but like a full-blown building out an office in Venezuela, like I need to see a little more, I think there's a few more people that need to get yanked out of there.
You know where you should do
And
it? Like, honestly,
I'm beginning to get concerned that they haven't yanked out more people, like,
Colombia.
that's
Colombia's
where we're gonna go. Yeah,
like,
I
great
wanted to do
country.
Mexico just because of proximity, but I'm just liking Colombia a lot better.
It's 3 hours and a half.
But
No, Argentina's too
Buenos
far
Aires
away.
is great.
Buenos Aires is amazing.
Yeah, Buenos Aires has been fantastic.
The
for that.
level of education there is insane.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, our most recent person,
Office.
our most
I
recent
would
person
do an
from-
office, dude.
Our most recent person from Colombia, Camila, she's great. She's been great.
Office. You should get an office. Like,
Right. So now that we're like, okay, Colombia is going to be the major focus, then now I have a little more like, okay, Colombia.
and if you stay in Colombia, then I will either do 2 or 3 cities. I can tell you off camera if you like.
Bogota.
Obviously, it's the capital.
Right.
Then the top 3. Bogota, Medellin.
It seems like Bogota is going to be the most expensive of the other options, but I think I'm going to do Bogota.
But get Bogota, and then you move to somewhere else cheaper with a higher salary.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. Okay. So now that we've kind of covered like what, like the other one is where, before we start getting into some of the meat and potatoes, the other one is where to hire them. I used to just immediately say Upwork. Ever since, and I was under the impression that hiring on LinkedIn required like thousands and thousands of dollars to do hiring, but it's actually not. It's stupid simple, it's stupid affordable, and it's really fast. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna say it's much cheaper than Upwork because yes, I think I spend like $100 every time I do a job posting, but I get so many candidates and that even after I go through them, I'm like, man, I wanna get 5 of these, but I only need 1. And if something happens with that one or the area, what I'm trying to focus on grows, I just go back to that other person, but it's LinkedIn. Rafa shot me a quick loom. I think I've advanced on it a bit since then, but
Yeah, it's changed a lot, actually.
yeah, I shot me a quick loom, and we just that's all. That's the only thing we hire on right now. The only thing is if you're trying to hire someone for specifically for Amazon PPC, it's just a dead end. Like, first of all, trying to target it, trying to use it as a target on LinkedIn, it's bad. Like LinkedIn doesn't almost doesn't recognize it, and what it pulls back in is a lot of people with experience in Meta and Google Ads.
But if they know Meta, shouldn't they pick up PPC right away?
Well, some of the times I was looking for someone Your question is if they know Meta and Google, shouldn't they know Amazon PPC right away? They will be able to pick it up really fast. But what I was trying, like usually I grow an Amazon Ads Manager from in-house, starting from Catalog Manager, so they understand everything that impacts and grow them through. But there was a few times that I was like, man, I need to kind of get someone to Manager a lot faster. And for that reason, I would go to LinkedIn, and I wasn't able to. So at that point, I need someone to come in that knows it, not train out. Otherwise, it's very easy for me to find catalog people. Says, hi, Carlos, what contracts or NDAs or standard practice when hiring Amazon VAs? I don't use any.
The pay range, pay as less as possible.
Yeah, where do you typically? Well, typically source VAs from the Ukraine, Upwork. I would use Upwork and just filter by Ukraine. To be honest, I've not done it since the war broke out, so I don't know what the impact was. I know I went from like great team in that section to people messaging me saying they're trying to cross a border or that they're working from a subway, like from one day to the next. So you want to say something?
Yes.
Okay, so would you rather hire the person that you know or someone recommended it to you, but he or she doesn't have knowledge or experience in something, but you can teach them, or the person who already has an experience, but you don't know this person?
Yeah, we're gonna that's gonna be kind of the meat of what we're gonna talk about. That comes down to like a trust thing, and that comes down to less about the person you're hiring and where you hire them from, and more about personal trust and insecurity issues. Some of them warranted and some of them exaggerated. It's more of a personal reflection. But there are some things that you're gonna need to train whoever comes in. So
You don't know.
you do.
You need.
Yeah, you're gonna need to. I'll tell you what, like I recently hired a business development person that was recommended by Rafa. We were about to go on a search for one. It would have been a 6 to 8 interview process. It would have been a very intense 6 to 8 week video process weeding people out for that role. I asked Rafa a few questions. The person used to work for Rafa, and I was like, yeah, I mean, talk to me. Like, why is this person no longer with you? And then he explained it, and I hired the person. I think I made the offer that evening, and we solidified it the next day. So yes, I mean, a personal recommendation from somebody you know, but someone you know that's in the industry, or someone you know like your neighbor. Like, for me, it was Rafa. It was someone from the industry, and I'm also able to look at this person's experience, and I could check a few things. And I got on a call with them. But if it's just like someone outside of the industry, that means nothing to me. Like, unless I need them to like babysit my kids, right?
Okay.
So, where do you usually recruit VAs from Ukraine and Latin America, and what's a typical pay range for each region? Ukraine's actually more expensive than Latin America, or at least for the roles that I was going for. Typical pay range, wow, that depends on the task they're gonna be doing, part-time, full-time, their experience level in that task. Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into that. So that'd be difficult to answer. I will get into some things that I do on how to determine that though. How do you determine which decisions a VA should have? Okay, so we're gonna get into we'll get into that part right now. So yeah, we focus primarily on Latin America now. That's more of a personal thing. If you're from China and you speak Mandarin and you have a lot of connections in China, I would look at China. So whatever works for you. I would work with any country. I have better experiences and worse experiences with other ones, and we've decided to focus primarily on Latin America. I also think there's going to be a lot of growth in Latin America over the coming years. It's an easy flight, and it's a great time hanging out in Colombia. So for all those reasons, I was like, yeah, let's set up shop in Colombia. All right, here's a framework that I use for, I hired a coach a long time ago named Chris Ducker, right after selling one of my first businesses. And back then it was like $40,000 to hire this person. And this person put everything that he taught me word for word, and that he taught all his other clients into a book. I've read the book, and it's literally word for word. And the book now is like $9.99, and it's called Virtual Freedom. Virtual Freedom by Chris Ducker. It's an amazing book. If you want to take virtual assistants, and it's a fun book, it's not like a difficult read. If you want to take virtual assistants serious and grow out a team, and that includes having an agency as well, because you know, really good teams have some in-house, some virtual, some agency. So there's like all that stuff going on. It's not all virtual or all in-house or all agency.
It's not $9.99.
How much is it now?
Paper book is $21.86 on Amazon.
Well, it's those gas surcharges, huh, for Kindle.
Kindle is $11.99.
$11.99?
Kindle.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. For a long time, it was $9.99. But that taught me the foundation that I still have to this day when it comes to virtual assistants. I won't go through the whole book, but for the purposes of Kim D's question right there, that last one, how do you determine which decisions? There's a framework that I use from him, and that is, it's creating 4 lists. And these lists is probably going to take you a day or two. And one of your lists is going to be to write down everything you do to grow your business. Another list is going to be everything you do to manage the business. Another list is going to be everything you love to do in your business. And then the other list is everything you hate to do in your business, right? There's going to be, on some of those lists, obviously, overlap, right? But the areas that are the most, like for example, everything that is on, most of the things that are on growth or manage are probably going to also appear on love and hate. But to clear up some confusion you might have between grow and manage, grow might mean the strategy behind doing something. Manage might be the day-to-day to keep that going. Strategically growing your business might be reaching out to Aldi's, finding contacts. That's growth opportunities, relationships. The management would be responding to all the emails that come from those contacts. You know, if you don't have a CRM, manually adding them into the CRM. So that's the difference. It's possible, those shouldn't have overlap. They should go on one list or the other. Once you have everything on those lists, and what's going to happen is like, you're going to spend a bunch of time one day building those lists, and then for the next week or two, you're going to find yourself on autopilot going over to go do something. You're like, oh, I didn't put that on the list. I didn't think about it. It's only something that takes 2 minutes. Go back and add it to the list. But at the end of about 2 weeks, you should have everything on there. And then everything new you do in your business, like every new software you get, anything that requires you to do, get a new software that needs to go on grow, because you're trying to grow the business. But once you have the software, if it requires someone to go in and do something on it, that is managing that software. On the love and hate, there used to be somebody in the group who loved packing boxes. He loved the aspect of putting the stuff in the box and taping it. I absolutely hate that. Gabe. Yeah, remember Gabe? Yeah. I hope he's doing good. But yeah, he loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's your business. Do whatever you want. Like, don't not put that because you're worried what everybody else is going to think. Like, you don't even have to show it to anybody. You love doing the boxes? Do the freaking boxes. But like, at some point, when you also want to grow your business in a certain area, we got to look at this time you're spending on boxes is probably not helping you grow. But like, put whatever you want. Don't, if you hate doing PPC, don't put it in the love column just because you think you're supposed to love it, right? Once you have everything on those lists, go in and circle or highlight, whatever you want, circle everything that is sales or strategic. Because you're not going to give that to a VA in the beginning, right? Everything that is sales or strategic, you're going to keep. And this might be one of the areas when we get into AI that might be, there might be some areas where AI could pick up some of this that you, even though you're, which would be great. Everything else that's on that list, you should be working towards getting off of you. Full transparency, I find myself doing things to this day that are on that list, and you just gotta like check yourself and then try to like regroup, and it's not a perfect, I mean, this is more like a compass and a North Star than a black and white button that you push. But everything else that is not circled or highlighted is something you should get off. What you do next is this. You go to each one of those things that is not highlighted or circled, and I want you to put this next to them. I want you to write what tools are needed to do this, what is the experience level that's needed for that tool or tools, and how much time does it take. So, reports on Amazon. They got to download something and put it in. Let's just say we'll use a Google Sheet. So the person needs Google Sheets. They need almost no experience to paste this into a Google Sheet, right? So Google Sheet, basic. So Amazon Seller Central, Google Sheet, basic, and I want them to do it every morning. I don't know. I'm just going to put 30 minutes or 15 minutes, but 30 minutes. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. Keep this in mind. For this to work, this is a mistake some people make. Some people here will be like, yeah, but I want my sheet or my Excel to do all these amazing things. And to build this, I'm bad at this stuff, but a VLOOKUP and all these other crazy stuff. To do all those things, that's not a basic skill level. But you don't need to hire someone that has that skill level to work full time for you. You can hire that person just to build it out so that someone with basic skills can just copy paste. Or another area that a VA, an AI might be able to just go in and drop something automatically. But for right now, let's not use AI right now. You go on to the next thing, and you do the same thing. At the end, you go back to these things and say, okay, basic Google Sheets, copy paste, 15 minutes. That's data entry. And start categorizing all these, and you're gonna see, wow, it looks like here I have 3.5 hours per day of data entry work that needs to be done for a basic skill level. So it looks like you're looking for a part-time data entry person, that an entry-level data entry person with a Wi-Fi connection is what you're looking for. And then you just keep moving on to the other stuff, and you categorize them that way. This helps you build out the job description when you go out to try to hire this person. Because if you don't do this, you don't know what you need to hire, you don't know how long you need to hire them for, you don't know their skill level, and you don't know, which means you're not going to be able to pay them, which means you're going to create a job description that's not going to attract the right person. So this is an important step wherever you're at in this. Like I'm missing something here. Oh, language. Language and video. Does this require, a lot of people are like, I need the person to speak perfect English. And I'm like, really? They're doing graphic design on Canva. Like, I don't really think, well, now with AI you don't, but even with a basic translator before, like if somebody wants the job and the person can't get this and pop it in.
For me, for example, I don't hire in Brazil because if their English or Spanish is not good, I can't get like points across.
What about with AI? Would you change that now? So like we have some gems in Gemini for like different languages.
Well, it depends on the algorithm. Like, you have the quality. For example, I'm a control freak, so I want everything to be like perfect before I give it to the clients. And if it's not, like, it's hard to do. So I'd rather have Latin American designers than Spanish.
No, I hear you. Yeah, okay, so I don't disagree with that. But you don't need the person to be fluent.
Well, they can have excellent writing skills without enough.
Right, so they can have writing skills and not speak. What I'm saying is the language is kind of important because if you put in fluent in English, there's going to be some people that are not what is classified as fluent in English that won't apply, and you might be sabotaging your job posting. You might only be attracting people that are more expensive because of a skill that's not even that important for you and what you need to do.
Yeah, and even like it works for software development. Like as you said, if you have a lot of people from Ukraine, your high-level person, like I don't know, your assistant manager can be from Ukraine, and then you can build team from Ukraine who doesn't speak English at all, but you have a manager who can like translate your instructions to this team.
We call those pods. A lot of our pods don't speak English. I mean, they can communicate if they need to with me in English, but during the day, they never communicate in English because they're communicating with everyone else in their pod and the person running the pod whose primary languages are not English. So like, they rarely speak English. That caught me for a while. I was like, man, you've been with the company for 3 years and it kind of sounds like your English has gotten worse since our initial interview. And the thing is, they don't speak English. During the day, they don't need to speak English. Was that Jeezy?
You could also train them, you know, like if it's somebody that has like A, B, and C. Hey, Carlos.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I would recommend, depending, if you're from India, you want to advertise on the US, then you should at least hire somebody that knows some US culture.
Yeah. Better Together. That's Lokesh. Hey Carlos, you know I'm a sourcing agent from India. Would you recommend hiring digital marketing freelancers from LinkedIn or Upwork? Look, there's nothing wrong with Upwork. I am now finding it easier and more affordable to hire on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
You should do TikTok ads.
For hiring? Send me a little video. The last one worked. I'll do it. I hadn't even thought about TikTok ads. For Meta ads, yes.
TikTok is super cheap. TikTok is super cheap. The question is, can you find the right person?
But who are you targeting for a job role?
You can target per country. But the question is, right, how do you target? What else do you target?
You filter. It's like everyone can use strategy. You have a funnel.
Send me a Loom video. He said we had a similar session back in 2021, and you mentioned that the VA must be recorded because if a new VA replaces the current VA. Yeah, so I recommend that all of the training sessions should be recorded when you're working with a virtual assistant so that if something was to happen with that person, you can refer to those previous ones as trainings. That's something I no longer do. I no longer record all the sessions. What I do now is, we just use Gemini. So we just, internal meetings, client meetings, we run everything through Gemini. We can host a bazillion amount of hours of stuff. We can refer back as a knowledge base to conversations. Like if Ramon and I had a 2-hour video meeting twice a week for the last 2 years, I can query that. Like, I don't remember. I feel like we spoke about, and it'll just grab it. So like.
That is so powerful.
Yeah, I know, I used to just record, when I had the recordings of these trainings, I'd need to get them, I would need to host them. What I would do is I'd have like a learning management system. I think the QR code's not working anymore. We gotta fix it, but maybe, I hope it is, but is it?
It's going to a website.
Oh God. But yeah, I no longer do that, Lokesh. Just whatever AI you use, again, one of the benefits of Gemini is it's all baked in. So what I do now is we have some instructions that anytime we have a meeting, it identifies say it's a client, or say it's someone that I'm gonna speak to regularly, say it's a friend, it could be Dungeons and Dragons, whatever you do, but we need to have a video meeting. Or audio, but we just have it on Google Meet. And then a folder will be created of not that meeting, but of that, as if the conversation's gonna keep going. So here's X thing with this client, or here's X thing with this rep that I work with at Amazon. And all future things will go into that folder. So there'll be rules for that folder, which will be, you know, certain types of notes that you want, identifying the people on the call. I think Notebook LM is the most underrated thing in the AI space right now.
I'm trying to connect it with Claude.
I've never connected it with Claude, but we have notebooks for everything. No, I believe it probably is. I'm just not putting, I'm just not putting any effort towards anything but Gemini, because the thing is, we're barely scratching the surface on Gemini. I bet Claude's amazing. I'm getting FOMO because everyone's talking about it. I was using Claude for scripting. Claude seemed to be the best for scripting.
Try like make it think for you and try like push it like everything I say you have to give me a reason why I should not do it. And you got a reason why I should do something else. Like something like just a general problem. And like
I put that called contrarian take in all of our gems.
Yeah.
So every time the gem, I want to have those types of conversations, I have it with a gem and it answers, and then it has to also give a contrarian take, like on the other side of it.
Claude is amazing.
Yeah, I heard.
You use Claude, right? Claude? Claude, yeah. Claude.
Yeah.
It's the orange one.
I'm doing Gemini as
you got
well
ice cream
any
for everybody or
meeting
what?
recaps.
You got ice cream for everybody or what?
To also explore
that
LinkedIn.
sucks.
Yeah, Lokesh, I recommend LinkedIn. I mean, I have to recommend what I'm doing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of good options out there, but I'm doing LinkedIn, so I would recommend LinkedIn for the hire. The only thing we've attempted to hire for on LinkedIn that we've not been able to do is Amazon ads specifically. And to be honest, I like the system we have. Like we don't bring someone in to just run ads. We bring them in as a catalog specialist. They have to learn the way we do things. They have to get a lot of experience. Then they need to work 6 months next to an Amazon ads manager before they can then take on an account. So like at that point, they know everything that we know. They've been with the company for a long time. There's a lot of trust. Yeah, but I don't know. If you have a different experience with LinkedIn, let me know. I also think because Amazon is not anywhere near as popular in Latin America, that there's not a lot of Amazon ad specialists over there. For Meta ads, it's been fantastic. For Google ads, it's been fantastic. One of the things we plan on building out later this year is a Meta ads team.
TikTok shop team. That's
TikTok? When you say a TikTok shop team, what do you mean? Because TikTok ads are easy. Like TikTok ads is kind of like,
managing influencers.
right, okay. So influencer manager, yes, yeah, very time consuming. Yeah, that's why the Levantas and all that of the world exist. Right, but they give you the framework and the tools to be able to manage it with some sanity, like control, like where everyone gets paid.
It's still a lot of work.
No, it is, it's a lot of work, yeah. I would love to be able to, like, taking a step to the side and offer it as a service, but my fear is, how scalable is that? Like, because it's very time consuming no matter how you do it. So if you get one person, how many hours per week do they need to put in for a single brand?
I would imagine that it's, yeah, I don't know enough, but it's a lot of work.
That's the only reason I've not offered as a service.
If you already have the influencers lined up, they're already trained, it makes it a lot easier.
Okay, so that's what we tried to do. We just had to put it on pause for a second as we built out the something called Creator Blueprint, trying to do what YFD is doing. Oh, by the way, the event last Saturday that we went to, everybody, kind of a side note apart from what we're talking about, which was the social media event in Wynwood. I learned something really interesting there. So we all talk about YFD, your first dollar. Their kind of competitor is something called Creator Corner. Really popular, really, really popular, great. They were just purchased by guess who?
YP?
Goalie. Goalie. So that tells you Goalie was giving away Lamborghinis to the people that would win their influencer contests, right? Goalie's in the supplement space. But what was happening is, I had been following this for a while. If you look, someone did a post and I started tracking it myself. If you look at LinkedIn for Goalie, how many new people are joining and how many people are doing a post updating, oh, no longer working at, I now work at Goalie for X. They were growing, they were growing massively with new influencers or UGC creators for Goalie. But somebody pointed out that these people were the people that were winning their contests. So they created these contests to not just award influencers, but to bring those influencers that worked best in-house. And then it just got to the point, and they're like, okay, they just bought Creator, they just bought them.
Crazy.
Yeah, they just bought them. So that gave me fuel last week, and I'm like, I need to get on Creator Blueprint. Like, but
This is something that it's the answer to the Amazon launch problem.
Yeah.
That is the answer right there. We never manage influencers effectively, and that shouldn't bring out people that they don't pay attention and they're losing credit.
that's the only way I think I'd be able to offer it as a service, because now if I'm talking to somebody, I'm kind of like, I could just recommend to them what I think they're going to do. And it's because, let's say with you, right? I would need to hire someone, train them, and they're going to need to put in 30, 40 hours a week for you.
It's not a part-time VA, like, oh, 3 hours a day, no, this is like.
Right,
full-time work.
right. So if they're going to, for me to pay the person to work 40 hours a week for you, where's the business? So it makes sense for the brand to hire their own person in-house. The only way I can see offering it as a service is like a creator's corner.
Well, as a creator corner, but I'm saying, talking more about it here in this medium, like being able to talk about more about TikTok Shop and influencer management and all that, I think you would get a lot more.
You know what? I'm glad I brought that up again. That's kind of energizing me to go. Maybe that's more important than building out a meta team.
TikTok?
Well, yes, but when we're saying build out a TikTok team, what we're talking about is the scalability and management of influencer / UGC creators, people management, right? Which means if you want them to also be good, there's some training you want to give those people so that the brands want to do that. So yeah, okay. That lit a fire under me right there. That made a lot of sense. Yeah.
Good job.
Fine. Por fin.
I'm here all day.
Yeah, once a week we get a good idea.
And once every other week. Once every
we got
other
it
week.
today.
Okay. Okay, we got time.
305.
Yeah, 305.
Oh,
So, software. When you're talking about after you've gone through and you've looked at how much time does it take, the skill level, what's the tool used, before jumping out and hiring someone, figure out what software could you use. Is there a software out there? You know what? Look at what software you have. Because a lot of the times you have a software and you're using it 10% of what it can do, and that something hidden in the other thing that it does some of the thing you want. But do you have a software that can do this? Is there like some Zapier? Why, ever since AI saying Zapier feels like a thing of the past, right? Zapier, you said Zapier before, it was like cutting edge, no matter how long it's been around, but now it feels like I'm giving bad advice. So is there some sort of automation that you need in? Like if somebody needs to import some, yeah, look at this, here's a perfect example. Someone needs to import some data. It's like, well, when this happens, let Zapier fire it. It tells it to get this thing and input it on this line of a sheet. That felt bad. That felt disingenuous. Okay, so just bear with me. For software, that is what you're looking at on software. I have this approach with software. Anyone on the team that wants to get a software, they need to present it as a hire.
what do you mean by that?
So we do not subscribe to softwares. We hire softwares. And when you frame it that way, you're like, okay, Because if anyone comes to the software and like, we want to get this software, it'll do blank. And I'm like, well, it's $170 a month. And then it's like, that sounds like a lot, but then it's like, yes, this is something we want to do, and it's $170 a month. If we hired this software, if we hired someone to do this, how much would it cost us? And what it happens is when you do it that way, you look at it and you're like, well, this would cost us $1,700 a month. And when you look at it like that, it's like $170 makes sense here. So what software could you hire using that framework and not pay a subscription for? The catch is this: every time we bring on a software, we have to have a discussion as to what software we could cut. Like, did that software make something else no longer needed? Otherwise, you could have just like this bloated runaway subscription to software cost that creeps up on you really fast, which I always have. Yeah. I'd say that's an area that I'm not good at.
I am such a cutter. I cut everything.
Oh, I'm shocked. Like, no, I don't mean around software. I mean, like, every now and then I'll just hear from like a storage unit place, and it'll be like, hey, we just want to check again. Like, say a credit card expired, and they're like, hey, we want to check again. We want to know what you're going to do with these units, otherwise they're going to go into auction. I'm like, what units? I haven't been to a storage unit in like 5 years. And they're like, yeah, you have 3 units here. I'm like, how much am I paying? And it's like, no, it's $200 a month. I'm like, $200 a month what? Per unit? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, what? I'm paying $600 a month for 5 years. You know, like, please do not call my wife. Just speak to me directly. But like, stuff like that happens to me a lot. Okay, so the software framework's a big one. Like, what can you do there on software? A cool thing pairing VAs and softwares together is have your VAs, or have a VA, like the VA that I'll use for something like this is the same VA. There's a lot of webinars that happen. Like, there's a lot of things you want to do to stay current in your industry. I have one VA who's just sole role is that sort of thing. They attend these webinars. I tell them more or less what I'm looking for. They can take notes from the webinar, but they also will contact some of these subscriptions before they're due and negotiate like a month or 2 off, or stuff like that. So
Good idea.
yeah, and it's like almost 100% success rate. Yeah. The hardest part for me about that was kind of framing templates that they could use that didn't look like templates, but now AI is just fantastic at that. And if you're paying an annual, you're probably already getting a discount, and when you negotiate 2 more months on top of it, like, all the software say yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how any software would say no in the age of AI.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just free money. Like, they're gonna say yes.
I do with Adobe all the time.
Yeah, Adobe always will do it.
I'll give you 2 months free. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. You know who's another one, and it has nothing to do with business, but like, unless you're using it for business, but your cable, your phone, they all do that. Like, you all do that. And the easiest way to do it with them is they're always giving new customer discounts to attract new customers. And look at the remote. So ask your AI to come up with the new deal right now for someone to switch from Comcast to AT&T. And let's say you have AT&T, and they're saying 2 months with the first 5 months being at $9.99. And you're like, I'm at 200 something bucks. So then you get that and you go to them and say, hey, Comcast just said that they're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and they'll be able to take me for this. And I notice you have this deal out here. And they come back and they're like, no, that's only for new customers. Like, wait a minute. I've been a loyal customer with you for 2 to 3 years, and you're gonna give somebody that you've never worked with before, who's not been loyal, $9? And no. Listen, something needs, let me talk to a manager. And they give it to you. So like, they almost always say yes as well, but like, you could have a VA do a lot of those things, like anything that's coming up for renew. The only thing I've not been able to negotiate is my FPL.
FPL?
Yeah, my Florida Power, like my electric and stuff
Yeah,
like
what
that.
are you gonna do?
Right.
Switch to where?
Right.
Water bill?
No, none of it, yeah.
I mean, you can get Tesla.
Well, the good thing about this place is there is no water bill. Yeah, which is why the freaking businesses, like, you come here at night, you're like, oh my God, it's so busy here, like at 3 in the morning. And all it is those big trucks with the tanks of water on the back to clean cars.
Yeah.
They apparently know about this place, and they all hook up and load up their waters.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how that'll stop immediately? They put all the business owners here and say you're responsible for your water,
Yeah.
and everyone will buy locks.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, everything's negotiable. Okay. Let's get into this other part. And it makes sense that there's not a ton of time left because I don't have a ton of experience yet in this one area. But, and I'd say in about 3 months, we have this topic again and it'll be more reverse. It'll be more like heavy AI and like how AI can help you maybe have less team members or make your team members more efficient or more powerful in your business. And that's AI. And that's definitely AI. I think you're sort of leading the charge on that in the group, Ramon, with
Yeah.
certain things that you're doing with being unethical and hacking. No, but some things that you've shared, which I think it's okay to reshare. You said I could, but it was like some depends. Strike through, setting up strike through pricing, and not just setting it up and having the AI do it, but automate. So there's one thing is getting an AI to do something, but for the purposes of this, like you're not getting a VA so they can sit there. You're getting a VA so they can continue working on their own without your constant need for supervision. That's what makes that, not supervision, your constant need for supervision. Same thing with software. Softwares do that. It seems like we are already here at a time when AI can do a lot of that stuff. I think the only thing holding a lot of people back is it's still an intimidating process for most people to get it going. I would say it's a little confusing even for me, and I mess around with AI a lot, but like, for example, you want your AI to automate something. Is Zapier involved in that? No. So if I want every time I get an email on X subject, I want Y to happen. Yeah. What do you do?
OpenClaw.
But it's only OpenClaw.
Yeah, only OpenClaw.
As of right now, it's just OpenClaw.
Yeah. You get an email, the subject is this and the sender is this, you do this routine. And if you get an email...
Send the mic, please.
You get an email and it's about an FBM sale. Well, this routine that sends it to your 3PL so that they can do it. You get an email and it's about, I don't know, some sort of problem with a listing. Well, you auto open a case through AI and it creates a case management. It says like, oh, you got to fix this and this. You get an email of, you send an email to them saying like, hey, I want you to research this topic for me. Boom, a response, right? Like a personal assistant type of VA that would do research for you.
Outside of OpenClaw, I mean, before OpenClaw, I was hearing other people were automating things with AI. How are they doing that?
You can automate things with AI in Claude. It's just not as easy, I would say, as OpenClaw. There's nothing else out there that does it yet. I mean, you're talking about Google recently, and that's new. I haven't researched into it, but OpenClaw is a leading way of doing it. But yeah, I mean, strike-through, for example, right? One thing is saying, hey, you're an account manager. You got to make sure that all our SKUs have a strike-through, and I want you to check every Monday. And if the strike-through is lost on Tuesday, the VA might check it next Monday. Well, if you have it set up so that your AI checks it every day, then you will find out on Tuesday. You fix it by Wednesday, and by Friday, Saturday, you have strike-through again.
What about, are you at a point yet with it? And if you're not, that's fine, because I know you're just starting it, but are you at a point yet with it? Like, for example, you hire a VA. This is a misunderstanding a lot of people have. You're like, oh my God, I'm up to here. I don't have any time. I need to hire a VA. And you hire a VA. You're going to have less time for yourself the first 2 to 4 weeks.
Right.
Yeah. You're going to train.
You put more work on yourself.
You're going to be like, it's true what everybody says. I shouldn't have hired. This is more work. I should do it myself. But it's not the case. It's that there's an onboarding or a training or a learning curve to it, and that'll be every hire. But I mean, the more you hire for the same position, the better you're going to be at the training, the more you be able to delegate some of that training. So it does help some, but it does not free up time as soon as you hire a VA. I'm imagining, where are you at with the AI stuff? You're still in like build, but is it saving you time yet?
It is definitely saving me time. I just continue to build new things. Like for example, a typical ManyChat type of flow where you have somebody types a word in your social media videos, and ManyChat will capture it and send them a link, something like that. Well, that's great. ManyChat works, but TikTok doesn't have something like that, right? So you create an AI agent that will log into TikTok every 30 minutes, look to see if anybody left that word and a comment in your video, and it will automatically respond.
Wouldn't that get flagged by TikTok though?
Would it get flagged by TikTok if it's caught? Yes, right? They don't want any bots in their system. But I'm not trying to create hype demand. I just want to make sure that within X number of minutes of somebody typing the keyword, they get the response that they expect for. So basically it's about customer service, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you concerned
So-
that, like, because there's a growing number of sites.
But let me get to my point. So what you're saying about getting more work in the beginning and building, yeah, that's been one of the harder ones because of the whole you gotta open a browser and you gotta look at things and all of that. That part has made it more difficult. But like everything, you build it and you spend a long time building it, and then it has a half-life of work. Whereas you build it and you think it's ready and it's not ready, and then you fix another thing, and every time you touch it again, you spend less and less time working on it, but it's not a one-shot and you're done, it's built. There's a lot of stuff that requires you to go back until eventually it's solved, and you don't touch it again, and it works perfectly moving forward. It's just like hiring a VA. You hire a VA, they have no idea what they're doing. In the beginning, you work a lot to train them, and they come back to you and they're like, oh no, I already taught you that. Remember, it's this way or that way. And eventually, little by little, they get it all and they never ask you again. Same thing.
Does that mean eventually you have one person? Because like when an update happens, I'm assuming a tweak needs to happen.
Right.
You had a VA. That VA is very knowledgeable about this subject. They know how to adapt to that tweak, no problem.
Right. Yeah. The AI is not that fast at it. Right.
Right, so the AI would require someone to go in there and do some modifications. So
Yeah.
it seems like there would be a person there that's more of like a systems architect.
Right. 100%. If
So-
you have a systems architect,
Does it make sense for you to hire a systems architect?
100%.
Because then the system architect seems like they would have way too much leverage in your business.
100%.
Or does it make sense in that scenario, if you're going to go that route, you don't have to hire anyone, but you better be that systems architect?
One or the other. The reality is you either do it yourself or you hire that person, and that job doesn't exist right now.
I
There's
think-
nobody really hiring for that yet because nobody quite understands how this works.
I think,
But yeah.
I don't know if you agree, I think that I'm more trusting, let's just say with VAs than you are. I struggle with one person being the entire systems architect of my business. You don't have an issue with that?
Well, I don't have a systems architect. I am the systems architect, so I don't struggle with it.
But do you plan on always being close enough to always be the systems architect? Because you actually are good at that sort of thing anyway.
Right. So that's the loophole, right? Since I'm good at it, I don't struggle with the fact that I would have to do it. But if I wasn't, then I get what you're saying, right? Like you need that's not a job, but that's more like a partner kind of thing.
Right, that's a partner.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it'd be the same way if you had a software, you'd get a partner that's
You
a coder.
gotta make sure that person doesn't leave. Let's put it that way.
Right.
What do you mean when you say system architect?
El arquitecto de la sistema, de crear la sistema en todo lo que está funcionando. Casi un programador. But I'm going to say more complicated because.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really need to know how to code. You just need to know how to.
But what you need to do is more complicated. You need to have a profound
Understanding of your business so that you know what you need and the best way to get
Code, you really don't need a profound understanding of the business. You just know how to do code. Here you need to know how to write commands out in a very structured way.
Right. Understand context, understand what works, what doesn't.
Which means you need to be more understanding of the business than the average operator just understands of their business.
And more understanding probably than the CEO.
Yes. So, es una posición muy...
But is it hireable? Yes. However, this is so new, nobody understands it yet. Everybody thinks people that are not big enough, they don't have a CTO, like Chief Technology Officer, they're just CEOs doing it themselves and trying to figure it out.
COOs.
CEOs, CEOs, right?
I had a kid who just recently graduated for that position.
Right, but that's the thing. A kid recently graduated from that position might be able to do it really fast, but man, if they leave,
Yeah.
make sure they don't leave. Put your trust in bringing a kid in that won't leave. Fantastic, but if they leave, you're fucked.
That's why I'm
You got to back up.
Well, if what we're saying is right, the reason why we're saying we'd be screwed now is because there's really no easy way to find people like that. But assuming this is right, that seems to be, it's gonna be the next job the next most popular job that everyone's gonna want, that people are gonna study for it. So it should be very easy to find.
What do you think?
Hopefully by next year, yeah.
What do you think the position is called? Like
I think it's gonna be called systems architect.
AI wizard?
I discovered the word systems architect because I had someone in my company that I was like, I felt like was an integrator, but wasn't like completely an integrator, and then had some other aspects of what they did. And I got to a point where we needed to go our separate ways. Very painful. As a matter of fact, my company's it's still getting back to where, like, we've had to do a lot of, this person does a lot. Like, this is a very important role. This is big. I didn't have a name for it. Like, if I was talking to Ramon about it, like, on the side, I would refer to him as like an integrator. But what happened was when I needed to figure out what this person did, and I knew that the builds that we did within the company, the systems that we built, I knew that the next year we weren't going to be in build mode. It was going to be more in maintain mode. So I didn't want to hire heavy on build, and I was like, do I need to fill this right now? What aspects of what this person did do I need to hire for right now? AI was great for that. And
Hire me. I would totally upside down your business so fast.
you probably would. I have no doubt you would. I mean, we'd probably be at each other's throats.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you know what? You're so good at certain areas, and I know you're so good at it. It would be different if I didn't know the person and they came. I know you would upside down it, but like, because I know the person and there's a trust there, I would just be like, Jesus, take the wheel. I'd step back and I'd be like, you knew this was coming. This is why you wanted it. Just go get a drink and just leave for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Like, but Jesus, take the wheel. But if it was somebody I didn't know and didn't know.
Those 3 storage units would be gone like this, man,
Right,
like that.
Yeah, if it was somebody I didn't know though and they were doing this, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I would not go. I'd have a total seizure. I'd have a heart attack. You want to log into
I would
my
dismantle the crap out of your business so fast.
For
the better.
I think if you were there for like 2 weeks, we would go from like where we're at now to like most profitable ever.
I would be so stressed out just looking at everything. Like, oh my God, what is this?
I get messages from everyone saying, so he said I have 2 weeks notice. All right. Kim, do you have a good question? How do I avoid becoming the bottleneck when VAs constantly need answers? So if your VAs constantly need answers, well, that's possible. It definitely could be that. Usually, it means you did not clarify the role enough, and you did not give proper training enough, or you didn't do those 4 lists. Because one of the things I hear back is somebody is like, Carlos, I'm so happy. I hired the VA, like you said, and they did this thing immediately. But it's 10 a.m. and now they're asking me, what do I do next? It's a horrible feeling. I finished. What do I do next? I'm horrible. I finished. And you're busy doing your thing, so you can't get back to them. And eventually you're like, I don't have the time to tell them what to do next. That means you didn't flesh out the role right. Like, you didn't sit down and figure out how long you needed this for, what they were going to do, set the expectations. Here's all your roles. During downtime, you should do X. Like, you didn't. That's more of a. So how do you become the bottleneck? I think building those lists out will remove most of it. Also, going into this knowing you hiring this person means more work for you for the first month, and then you should be good. And if you make it through that first month, one of the things I do in the first month is, and I did not create this, my approach towards training is I do, we do, you do. And at first, you watch me do it, or you watch the person on the team do it, and when you've watched it, each time sort of that person's homework is to break down the steps that are involved. Like what did I have to do? What did this person do the whole time? And then depending on how complicated the task is, then it's like, okay, I'm doing it, but hey, take a guess. What do I got to do next? Like get to the point where you can kind of finish my sentences. Then we do it. I might be like, screen share, log in, just let me go here, go here, go here, you're doing it. And I can see your mouth, like you're thinking ahead, you know what's next. You're kind of saying, oh, while this is loading, do I open up the tab for X? So that's what we do. And when it gets to the point where you're just sitting there watching the person and they're just doing it, I might start asking them, why did you do that? Why didn't you go do this? So then now they have to answer like, and check me. And then we get to you do. And that's, hey, do you need me here tomorrow to do this? If you do, because you're gonna freak out if I don't, you can ask me any questions you have, just hit me up. But if you don't need me here for the next 2 days, I have a meeting at this time. And that time I am not on a meeting. I am literally sitting there scared out of my mind. No, I'm literally sitting there probably checking in, hey, I can access my chat, but I'm in a meeting, let me know if you need anything. The person's like, no, I'm done, I'm actually done. I'm gonna send the report to you and blah, 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 blah. So I like doing it like that. And since I do most of the stuff in my business, or I know how to do most of the stuff in my business, that works. But if I brought somebody in to do something that I had never done before, I'd obviously need to do that differently. But it's I do, we do, you do. Also, there is such a thing as you hire someone, and you can also hire a consultant or a specialist to come in and help do some training. So I sometimes bring in people to do trainings for people on my team. You don't need to be the absolute authority on the most knowledgeable person on everything in your business. I think that covers everything. Yeah. Huge turnout today on the live stream. This topic never does nice. All right, I'll give you a second. Anybody who has any other questions? If not, we're going to finish on time. I'll be doing it, I would say, within the next 4 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be doing it like in the next 4 weeks. I should have the self-paced portion of it done. So it'll come with a self-paced course, and then it'll have the twice weekly classes. But what happened on the last one is everyone was like, man, greatest information ever, but it felt like I was drinking out of a fire hose. So I was like, okay, I'm getting a lot of that. I'm also feeling like I have to be on like a fire hose every time. So I was like, that's not the feeling. One thing, I mean, I love the fact that everyone's like, I love this amazing stuff. It was so unique and it was great and it's gonna help my business. But the other one is, if you're so overwhelmed that you're struggling to apply it, that's not what I'm going for. So I'll be doing that. I can say that I put out on the email newsletter side, and I've been intentionally not promoting the newsletter in the group, just to see, so I can kind of show afterwards, like, this is how we're growing it outside. But I'm using a new email sequence that'll lead with the sale of a new course that I created and launched. Go figure, I launched it, but I didn't launch it to the group. So I haven't even like mentioned it in the group. But it's basically profitably sourcing products from the USA, specifically the food, like the whole aspect of just the specific food one. We'll see how it does. I'm hoping for like a 2% conversion rate on the email. And if
When
that
do you
works-
launch?
I technically did, because it's part of a 7-day email sequence.
But it hasn't hit yet.
The 7th day, like the sales days haven't hit yet. That should hit in about 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'd be happy with a 1% to start, but yeah. Any other questions? Good stuff. I finally finished on time. Thank you. All right.
Estamos buscando un día ahí para que nos ayude con la comunicación de Wizard of Rico. A mí no me llega nada.
Bueno, ahora tengo un notebook con todas las clases.
¿No busca antes?
El notebook LM. Yo puedo compartir el notebook.
Ah, sí,
Yeah.
nos cambiamos para...
Tú puedes compartir el notebook y hacer cualquier pregunta que quieras del notebook, and it should answer.
Porque...
What I did is I went back and I grabbed for like the last year and a half, 2 years, all of the YouTube videos, and since they're
Only
Google,
available to you? You can't share that?
yes I can.
You can?
Yeah, you can share notebooks.
outside of your organization.
Yep. Well, I have a share button and I have something there that says
In your
organization.
organization.
Let me check.
Not
That
outside.
would be really good to, let me look at that right now.